Order the November 9th, 2020 public meeting of the Whitehall Township Board of Commissioners. First, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, followed by a moment of thanks for members of the armed forces, especially those in harm's way, our first responders, healthcare workers, food supply workers, our municipal staff and employees who are helping our community and country through these trying times. We'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The HUD statement. Whitehall Township has an obligation to affirmatively further fair housing and to review all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. This includes taking meaningful actions that overcome patterns of segregation and foster inclusive communities free from barriers that restrict access to opportunity based on protected characteristics. The township, in its land use decisions, does not discriminate against persons based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, disability, or familial status, and reviews all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. Public comments made on the basis of bias and stereotype concerning people within these protected classes will not be taken into consideration by the township in its deliberations. All right, first of all, approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the last public meeting?
I'll make that motion, Warren.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Fisher.
Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Warren? Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Atiyah?
Yes.
Commissioner D?
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
President Ginder?
Yes.
Your sound's off, Tom.
I have to hold the button down. Okay. I'm okay now.
Yes.
You want to announce the total?
Yeah, I said 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion carries. All right, before we go to courtesy of the floor, Mrs. Rackus has a presentation for us.
Okay. Now it's going to be showing me the full screen. Sorry for this, this is still a process for me. Okay, now we're getting there. I apologize, I didn't get this done before the night. I don't know how to do it in advance of the WebEx. So it's good you have a short agenda. Okay.
These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. Your men and your quote lives fought have left their side with your honor.
Okay, John.
Yes.
Are we back online, Zach?
Yep. Yeah, I just unmuted everybody. That was really nice, Lee.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you. Thank you to all the people that serve.
Lee, thank you. I know you put a lot of work in this all the time, and thanks for all your efforts, Lee. It's much appreciated.
I'll do it.
Moving on to courtesy of the floor. Zach, is anybody in the chat room, so to speak, for courtesy of the floor?
Let me just pull everything up and make sure. Nothing in chat. Let me just check Q&A real quick, Bill. Nope. Yeah. Looks like we're all good. I do have a few people who are here to talk about the ordinance, but nobody for courtesy of the floor.
Okay. Before we move on to public hearing and voting on ordinances, I want to announce that the Board of Commissioners was in executive session on the 14th of October 2020 for litigation and employment matters. And the Board of Commissioners was also in executive session on the 4th of November 2020 for employment matters. Moving on to public hearing and voting on ordinances. Bill number 31, 2020. This is a second hearing. An ordinance of the Township of Whitehall authorizing the issuance and sale of general obligation bonds or a general obligation note in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $8,280,000 for the purpose of funding capital projects, including the construction of a new police station and other capital projects of the township, including additions, alterations, renovations, improvements to, and fixturing and equipment of certain township facilities and grounds. Do I have a motion?
Bill,
Yes.
did the number change from 8,700,000 to 8,200,000?
8,200,000. The number changed to 8,280,000 as of an email that was late today. I guess around 3:30.
Okay, because it's showing on the screen as the original 8,700,000.
Yeah, the number was changed by an email that the mayor sent out late this afternoon.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Marks.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Is there
second
a
it.
second?
I'll second it.
Questions from the board? Questions from the board? Questions from the public?
Christopher Gibbons, is this the ordinance you wanted to be unmuted for?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Could you please state your full name and address for the record?
Sure. Christopher Gibbons, with Concord Public Financial Advisors, 2938 Columbia Avenue, Lancaster, PA.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, okay, sorry. Good evening. We, as was indicated earlier, the borrowing amount changed based on the bids that we received today. We received 12 different bids from 2 different underwriting firms. During that bidding process from 11 o'clock to 11:20, the interest rates went down about 0.2%, which is significant because that was about $16,000 per year in reduced interest costs to the township. Ultimately, the best bid came from Robert W. Baird out of Wisconsin at a true interest cost of 1.99%, just barely below the 2% number. It's a great bid. It produces debt service costs that are approximately $24,000 less than what we had shown previously to the township. The total amount of the borrowing would be $8,280,000 to complete the projects as outlined in the ordinance. The debt service schedules and other information I I forwarded it to the township earlier today. I'd be more than happy to go over it, but essentially the idea is that we're able to borrow money at less than 2% for 25-year term, and it's well within the guidelines and debt service requirements that the township established.
Are there any questions for Chris?
No, thank you. This is Joe Marks, Chris. Thank you for all your hard work and diligence on this, and it really means a lot to us.
Sure. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Well done, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? There being none, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks? Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Warren?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Attia?
Yes.
Commissioner D?
Aye.
And President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 32, 2020. This is a first hearing. There will be no vote. An ordinance amending the official zoning map of Whitehall Township by rezoning an approximately 31.65 acre parcel owned by Whitehall Township from R1 very low density residential to C2A local commercial. Under other, a motion to approve the release of escrow for completed and withdrawn projects per Deputy Mayor Myers, memo dated October 30th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that work.
Go ahead, Tom.
You overtalked each other, whoever you were. I know Fisher was one, but I don't know the other.
You can have it, Chuck. It's Joe.
Okay, I'll take it. Fisher introduces.
Okay, and the second?
I'll second Marks.
Okay.
Comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Comments from the public?
There are none.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, pull the board.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner D?
Aye.
Commissioner Attia?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Aye.
President Ginder?
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
I have one other motion here. It has come to the attention of the Board of Commissioners that the Township Treasurer is not making all deposits within 1 business day of the date that the funds are received as required by Article 7, Section 7A of the Township Charter. We direct the Treasurer to immediately follow the procedures set forth in the Charter and make all deposits not later than the first business day following the day in which the funds are received. We further direct the Township Solicitor to send a letter to the Treasurer instructing her to comply with this motion. Do I have a first? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. Fisher.
Do I have a second? Is there a second?
I'll second it, but, I'll second it. Marks.
Discussion from the board. Any discussion from the board? Discussion from the public?
There are none.
Being none, Mr. Secretary, pull the board.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Warren? Yes. Commissioner Attia?
Yes.
Commissioner D?
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker? Aye. President Ginder.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
All right.
Bill, can I make a comment about that?
Yes. Who's speaking?
This is the mayor.
Go right ahead.
Only wanted to say that it's my understanding that we have not ever had a treasurer who followed that mandate because it's not appropriate in almost all instances that they can get it done in one day. I understand that that's in the book. I think maybe we need to look at that.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Now, I want to make one other quick comment. There was an email went out last week that we're going to need another resolution for the pavilion grant. And I know I was a little confused, could it be done or not? And I found out, Mick told me today that we can get it in December and the timelines will be fine for everything, and the mayor also confirmed that. So if there's any question out on that we don't lose the grant, I believe it has it under control. I don't know, Mick, if you wish to talk to that for a minute.
Well, just that any grant applied needs to have a resolution, a municipal resolution passed. So our my grant contact in Harrisburg pointed out that the application is fine. It won't be rejected as long as we can get a resolution passed in a reasonable amount of time. I confirmed with December work, and I was told yes. If we waited any longer, it might be in jeopardy, but the rest of the grant application is good to go. Once we get to resolution, it'll be put through.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah, just to follow on that, the 2019, I think the 2019 resolution was not applicable to this resubmittal, so.
That is correct.
Thanks for catching that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have to do a new one.
All right, thanks, Mick.
All right, so we should see that in front of us next month. Anybody else want to comment on that? There being none, let's move on to reports of the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner D.
Thank you, President Ginder. First off, I want to thank you and Commissioner Marks for your service to this country. I'd like to thank all the veterans who are members of, who work for the Township of Whitehall. Any veterans that happen to be listening out there, thank you for your service. I did not serve, but my father was in the Coast Guard. I had 3 uncles who served, one of whom was part of the invasion and during D-Day. So I do come from a family who served, but thank you all. This is a great country, and it's an even better country thanks to everyone who served. And the only other comment I want to make is now that the election, well, I'm not sure if the election is over, but no matter if you're candidate one or not, we need to pull together in order to make America great again. We really need to put our political differences aside. So if you take the time to talk to somebody, you'll find out that you have a lot more in common with them than you think. Whether it's a favorite sports team, a favorite musical group. So I think we really need to focus on listening to each other, listening to our neighbors, and we just need to work together to make this a better community and a better country overall. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. And happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there.
Thanks, Mike. Commissioner Fisher?
Thank you, President Ginder. I just want to follow up on what Mick said, and I just really want to reach out and thank all the veterans who have served, especially the veterans from our township, and to especially say to Commissioners Marks and Ginder, it's what's built this country, it's what held this country together, and it's just something important that we really need to recognize and acknowledge. And I want to thank Lee for putting together that very tribute to veterans who served the township. The other thing I really want to talk about tonight, briefly, it's kind of been my thing. I kind of want to just keep coming back to is just, I mean, the issue with COVID right now. I don't know if you can see these very well, but I just printed these out this evening. And this here is the number of new cases nationally. I mean, I follow this every day. This little spike here, this was April, this was July, and this is about where we're at now. We're heading into the colder weather. We don't know what's going to happen. And something else I want to point out through the internet, these are the hospitalization rates that have been occurring lately. Again, April, July, now. The fact of the matter is they're coming up. And the fact of the matter is we have two major holidays coming up, in addition to other holidays coming up that, I mean, the fact of the matter is people are going to be getting together. And I can speak for myself that my family this year, we are basically webcamming it and Zooming it through Thanksgiving, through Christmas. My in-laws live in the township, and they live a mile from where I sit right now, and this is how we're going to be doing our holidays with them. It's difficult, but my family, we have a lot of pre-existing conditions, and it's something I'm very concerned about. And I'm just hoping if we can all pull together and get through what will be a very difficult Thanksgiving and Christmas, that next year's Christmas and Thanksgiving, we're going to definitely make up for it. So everyone be safe, use common sense, wear your masks, and we'll get through this together. So that's all. Excuse me, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Phil. Commissioner Attia.
Thanks, Phil. Again, I want to thank Lee for putting together that presentation and wish everybody happy Veterans Day. Lee and Joe, you guys look really, the same age now that you did in those photos that Lee shared. So, well done. But again, great presentation there. In terms of the election, I did want to just thank all the workers. I know for myself, just going in to vote, it's done really smoothly. And from what going in, I enjoy it every time I get to go in there and vote, and I see the volunteers who work, and they're just happy to be there, happy to help, and just wanted to thank everybody across the township who volunteered to work those election days. Other than that, I don't have much. I know Thanksgiving will come and go by the time we have our next board meeting, so I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's families are doing well. Stay safe and stay healthy. That's all I got, Phil.
Thanks, Randy. Commissioner Warren. Are you there, Jeff?
All right, Phil. Yeah, I guess I want to go follow on with the other commissioners and thank you and Phil, Joe, for your service, and our township staff and all the other veterans that have served. Let's hope the weather holds out for Wednesday. Also, I did get a question about Field 5 at Egypt Park, and I was wondering if maybe Frank could take another look at that and see if that's even feasible, given the amount of soil that's behind Taylor Villas, if that's a suitable source, and if it's something that we can manage in the near future, or if it's cost prohibitive. So I just throw that out there for suggestion. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Jeff.
I can answer if you want to.
Go right ahead, Frank.
Okay. With that field number 5, it was on again, off again over the years. And the last part, we did the survey, the design work for the other field. But what is needed out there is an NTDES permit. We already did the soils testing and the infiltration rates. I don't know if we'll have to redo those, but I think last time around we looked at it. To resurrect it and go ahead with the permit was probably around $7,800 to maybe $8,500 to finish that, to the point where you could accept the fill. It's not doing any of the stripping of the topsoil or getting it ready, but just to accept fill to the site, we have to get a permit. So that's kind of where it's at. And again, it hasn't moved forward in, probably 6 or 7 years easily. So.
Does that help you, Jeff? Yes, he's off. Okay, Commissioner Swaniker.
Okay, I'll join in Lee did not put on the photograph I liked the most with handsome Phil Ginder, who served, but that was on in prior years. And also, thank you, Joseph Marks, there for serving too. Again, with all of the other people in the township that we have working for us, and obviously it goes nationwide. So just want to get that out. Frank Clark, lots of things. Did you address to the people that are excavating and building and whatnot on Church Street with leaving the dirt in the road?
Yes, we had several meetings with them and made some corrections to their tire cleaning pads. And we're out there just almost the whole day keeping an eye on things because of all the pipe work being done. So we did address that early on. I think they got a little lazy, but they've corrected those things.
Okay, and I don't know who to address this to, but the shelter that used to be in front of the White Castle at the bridge there at the Jordan Creek, it looks like somebody had run into that several months ago. Was anybody notified that it was hit and whether or not they wanted to re-erect it or whatnot?
I can answer that.
Well, good. You answer that, Lee.
I believe it was the beginning of October. There was a car accident that basically destroyed the shelter. We've been in touch with Lanta because there's still a lot of debris laying there that they didn't clean up, like the glass pane from one of the panels. As a matter of fact, I was just in touch with Molly Wood today from Lanta. They're going to be going down there and cleaning it up. The police department is getting them in touch with a police report so that they can file a claim with their insurance. However, there's a couple shelters that were damaged, and Lanta, with COVID and everything with manufacturing, there's a backlog on getting the shelters in, so you're not going to see a new shelter there for some time, according to Molly. So they are aware of it. We are working with them to get the site cleaned up a little bit. And yeah, for a while it was just the roof was laying on the ground like it imploded or something. But yeah, she said that there's a delay in getting the shelters back up, so it's going to take a little while.
Okay, and it's one of those things when you see it not there and you see the debris and everything, you sort of know what happened. But like I said, sometimes people, oh yeah, that's been down there for 2 years now, nobody type of thing, so I think it was, yeah, I think it was at the beginning of October. Okay, and it seems like a long time with, that I've seen it down, that's all. And that's about all I have there, President Ginder, who's handsome.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Sloniker.
Oh, you're very welcome, handsome.
Commissioner Marks.
Thank you, Lee, for the wonderful presentation once again. Thank you for all your dedication to us. That means a lot. Jack Myers, are you there?
Yeah.
Mr. Myers, I heard through the rumor mill that possibly the gym in the new public safety building has been removed.
It's been removed ever since we got the final design, yes.
I never realized that, if you think back to when we initially proposed this building and we, our pre-discussions, I just feel strongly that for the health and welfare of our employees, and we back then we even discussed insurance, possibly rebates because we provided a service for them, and I wasn't aware that that was not part of the new facility. And is there any way, we still have the space, correct?
Correct. But the thing you have to remember, and we're finding this out already, is that there is absolutely no room for growth on the municipal end. We have, like right now, Lee's having another employee brought in codes enforcement. We're scrounging to find room for that person because we have no potential for growth. we need to keep something out of the 30,000 square feet that we're building that can be used for the municipal end of things, and that segues itself right into where the municipal building was. We also have issues with the workers' comp end of things, having the gym in our area, that it's going to be something that, you know, is going to be an issue if somebody injures themselves. Right now, we don't have that problem. We have a gym that's perfectly functioning, that we don't need to reinvent on the site at the expense of future of future growth.
Fair enough.
I just think it's not the time to be talking about putting gyms in and supporting that function when we just had to, you know, put all this money into the project.
No, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't even aware that it was removed or it was never proposed. I was always under the mindset that was part of the, you know, but, you know, I heard from people and I'm just voicing their concerns, and I guess it is what it is, huh?
That's fine. I mean, they have ample room in the police for a lot of growth. We do not. We need to retain some square footage for the municipal end. We just do. We just have nowhere to expand to.
Okay. See, I always thought that this was incorporated into the new public safety building. I didn't realize that it was going to infringe on, you know, the administration side or the administration building.
Well, it wasn't infringing on what we have, but what we have now is about identical to what we had in the old building, in the current building, plus we're assuming additional employees that were out in the public works garage, all within the same scope of and square footage.
I got you. All righty. I have a question for the mayor. Is the mayor on?
I am.
I was contacted by 4 members of Station 40. They provided me letters today that I forwarded to Commissioner Ginder. And I was also contacted by members of the fire police. Mr. Ginder is in possession of the letters. I think we need to sit down and address some of these issues with the fire chief. I'm just putting it out there as a courtesy, and, you know, I think they have a right to be heard.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I have, Phil. All right. I only have 3 things. I will forward those letters. I believe I only have 3 of them, but I will forward those letters to the mayor and Jack and the police, the fire chief tomorrow morning. Question for Frank Clark. Are you on, Frank?
I'm here, Phil.
Lehigh Avenue. Can you bring the board up to what's going on down there, how bad it is, where you're at with PennDOT, so the board has an idea what's going on when people ask?
No problem. As you might have noticed out there, we have that barricaded. The first right 2 feet of the road width out there along Lehigh Avenue, along the guide rail. John Rackus brought it to my attention a couple weeks ago. We went out and looked at it, and it appears that one of the several storm events we've had a lot of runoff. Water would come down Main Street and wouldn't quite make the turn, and it went over the guide rail, over the curb that's just below the guide rail. And we had some scouring action from that runoff that undermined part of the road. So there's a section about, probably about 10 feet long going with the road, and it goes under about 2.5 feet in that one section. And not that you can look closely when you're driving that, but there's actually a hole that opened up in the pavement itself. It's about 3 inches wide and about a foot long. And as a matter of fact, we were out there again today taking a look at it. what we've done is ordered that road to be closed off in that area so we don't have any trucks on top of it. We're rather confident of the rest of the integrity of the road except for that edge. The rest of the road is holding well. When we're out there, the 10-wheel dump trucks and whatnot are flying by, and we don't see any vibration or anything that's going to cause a problem as it stands. Part of the issue with repairing that road is there's nothing really to anchor to on the embankment that goes down to the old railroad bed. It's rather steep, and there's really nothing that's going to hold anything in if we work from the edge. So we're looking at moving underneath the road, the area that's undermined, and casting what they call a grade beam. And what that is, it's basically a long concrete log, if you will. We form it up, put heavy steel in it, and we're looking at about 75 to 80 feet long to catch either side of the embankment that's still intact and very strong in order to bridge this void. And that's the plan so far. So that's underway. We met with a contractor out there today that's used to doing this. They're going to be contacting their concrete sub just to get us some ballpark figures on cost. So we want to proceed carefully with this as well as cautiously in regard to the traffic. One of the things that we did already was we contacted PennDOT and talked to them about a detour route. If you might recall, over on Race Street, they just had a total closure a little while ago to repair the one bridge. So we're probably going to repeat that detour route with PennDOT. So that's underway with the department, and we're speaking to some pretty high-up people over there, told what was going on. So the locals can figure their way out up towards CVS and up on Orchard to get out by the light, but as far as the heavy truck traffic, they can't go that way, really. The other thing we did is we also contacted UGI. There is an old gas main in that area. Well, there's also a water line, and there's also a sanitary sewer. The water line's on the far side of the road, sanitary's in the middle. The gas, of course, is on our side that we're working on. We have contacts into the UGI Field Engineering Department. We're probably going to have them out there within a day or two. They are aware of it. We also, this afternoon, stepped up an emergency one call to get a better marking for the utilities out there, and that way we can proceed with designing the repair. So we are leaving nothing to chance. We are going full steam on this. Alan Fornwall, one of our engineers in my office, he's spearheading the effort. And again, we were out there today going through everything, but we're looking at a couple different options, the grade beam and then perhaps some what they call earth anchors that we would drill horizontally up into the embankment on the other side of the road. And it's just a matter of locating utilities vertically to see what kind of clearance we have to snake our way through there. So that's the latest we have so far.
With that gas line under the ground and these triaxles and tractor trailers ponding the hell out of that road as they go by, I'm concerned this isn't going fast enough with that gas line under there. If that gas line gets disturbed with all of this nonsense going on, I don't understand that PennDOT isn't moving faster on this, Frank, because there's a gas line in the disturbed part of this road.
Okay, well, the gas line is still under the road that's intact, and that's why we have the UGI guys come out there. They're going to make the call. If they feel we're in danger, then they're making the call.
Because once the bang happens, then everybody's running around with their tail between their legs.
Understood.
You can feel that whole road shake when these trucks go by when you're standing on that road.
Yep.
So, does anybody have any questions on the mess on Lehigh Avenue?
Yeah.
Let us move to the hole up on Bridge Street, Frank, while we're in the neighborhood.
All right, I can tell you what I know about that. Sinkhole opened up on private property. The homeowners, they do have sinkhole insurance through Erie. Erie has contracted with Boots to make the repairs, and the sinkhole, if it's not has not been repaired, it migrated, and more of the area caved in, including that one lane on Bridge Street. Bridge Street is a PennDOT road, and the township's taken the position that we're totally not involved in any mean out there. The homeowners insurance company will take care of their private property. I think they might be taking a portion of the sidewalk and curb as well, but the rest of it's under a PennDOT road, and we made it very clear to them they're responsible and we have no part in it. So I don't know anymore what kind of fight's going on yet, if any, but that's where we stand on that one.
All right, so we don't know if PennDOT's accepting, not accepting, or what's going on.
That's a fair assumption, yes.
Okay. Any other comments on these two issues from the commissioners before I move on? There being none. Frank, I got one more question. The collapsed pipe down south of 22 by the apartments. Where are we at with that mess?
Nothing different from last week. I don't know if the mayor had a chance to talk to Dave Harleman at all. I'll leave that with Mike, but that's the next step, is to sit down with the sewer authority, their engineers, former and current, and look at a plan of action.
So we haven't sat down with them yet?
That's correct.
I have spoken with Dave.
Oh, thanks.
I have spoken with Dave, and he is currently working on the position that they're not really sure of what happened. Their engineering company changed, and they've been having trouble getting records, but Dave, I know, has been over here working, and he has been working, hoping to get a response so that we can get to the point where, we can work together to get this done, if necessary. This could fall entirely in our lap. We want to work with the sewer authority and see what the ultimate conclusion will be, and we'll make a decision about who's going to do what in order to get this thing rehabilitated. Right now, it's not clear what the circumstance was, and we're still waiting on information.
All right. So we're not even an inch closer to repairing this thing.
Not at this point.
All right. Frank, have your people been in this pipe with cameras?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's how we discovered it. We had to go and look at the hole that's further upstream. That's right next to the apartments. And we could not get into the manhole that was right there because there's no ladder to get out of it. So I didn't want to send anybody in it, obviously. So our team went down to the next manhole downstream and entered that, which is known as manhole L, as in Larry. And it's on the plans. That's why it's not named Larry. It's just L. But we went into that manhole and started to come upstream, and that's when we discovered it. So just by dumb luck, we actually found that breach. So, but yeah, there's all kinds of photographs and report on that. Did also get that.
Did we send? Does the sewer authority? Does Dave Harleman have your report?
Yes, he does, along with all the photographs.
He has the photographs and everything.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Yep.
Commissioners, any commissioners have any questions on what's going on with the pipes? Is somebody trying to talk? I don't hear anybody. Okay, we'll move on. Is somebody trying to talk? We'll move on to the mayor's report.
Just wanted to point out a few things. One, on Wednesday, the Fullerton Legion will be rededicating their memorial on 3rd Street, and that will be at 9:30. Had the opportunity to speak with the folks down there, and they're really excited about the opportunity that they have to rededicate that. And kudos go out to our Public Works Department. They completely redid that memorial for them. And if you have an opportunity, get down there to that ceremony that's going to have at 9:30 on Wednesday. and then that will be followed by another one up here. And that's going to be interesting because as per Joe Marks and you, Phil, we know that there's going to be the dedication of another service to go on that pole out there. The Space Force and the POWMIA flag will be relocated above that, I understand, and below the American flag. So it's going to be an interesting ceremony. There were questions last month about Lafarge potentially burning trash from New York. Phil and I sat down and talked with representatives from Lafarge and the gentleman who had indicated that it looked like we were going to be getting some trash burn up there. We believe, and I'm speaking for you, Phil, I hope you may not have other thoughts about this, but I think we came out of the meeting with Lafarge sure that they were telling us honestly what was going on up there, and we will not see any trash. It would be a violation of their EEP license, and at this point, I think that we are of the opinion that they are meeting their requirements of their permit, and the trash is not going to be coming down here. We also found out some interesting things during that meeting, and they've reduced their CO2 output by 35% since 1990. And I was very impressed to find that. They're also experimenting with some new kinds of concrete or with new type of cement that actually absorbs CO2. So they're at the forefront of an opportunity to utilize that construction cement as a way to sequester CO2. I thought that was pretty impressive. I was out with Chris Blechschmidt to get a look at the Pride and Farm house. Chris is putting together a structural engineering report on that visit. It has not come in as of yet. I will also be giving a license to the Hunger Initiative to farm. At this point, it looks like it could be up to about an acre for utilization of fresh vegetables to be distributed next year by the Hunger Initiative. And those are some of the highlights.
Anything else?
Not right now.
All right. And the cement company also offered to the Board of Commissioners, once the COVID clears up, they said if we want to do a tour of the plant and see what they're burning, how they burn, and everything they're doing, all we have to do is ask. But we felt it would not be a good time now till we get through this COVID problem. So that is open to us in the future at any time.
I would definitely like to take them up on it. Kind of cool to see.
Not a problem. I mean, they were very open with everything through the whole discussion, and it was kind of eye-opening. I think the mayor is exactly right in everything he said that he felt. Anything else, Mayor?
No. Thank you for recalling the opportunity to take the tour up there.
All right. There being the treasurer's report. Anything from the treasurer? Is the treasurer on?
Yes, I just want to inform the board that the October treasurer's report will be mailed to your homes.
Can we just put it in the packets and save the stamp money?
Well, we could have, but I didn't get it into the packet on Friday, so I assumed you would want it, and I would mail it to your home. If you prefer that I don't mail it, I would.
Yeah. I'm just wanting to save all the money we can. If that report can hit in the packets rather than put all this extra postage on it.
Well, it normally would, but since there are only 7 of them, it would be 50 cents a piece. I can certainly take that out of my pocket and do it too.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else before we go for adjournment? There being nothing, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Tia, I'll motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second, D.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening and a good Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.